a federal judge on Friday filed a nationwide cease and desist order against Amazon. This is stipulating that Amazon cannot fire workers for union organizing, which is something they have done, which is against the law. So here is some reporting from Vice on precisely what has gone down. The court order filed in the Eastern District of New York by Judge Diana Gujarati demands that Amazon cease and desist from discharging employees because they engaged in protected concerted activity and in any like or related manner interfering with, restraining, or coercing employees in the exercise of the rights guaranteed to them by Section 7 of the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Act. And so Seth Goldstein, who is an attorney, a labor attorney who works with the ALU, said this is huge. This is the first cease and desist order against Amazon from a federal judge. If Amazon fires employees or takes any action against employees for organizing, violating their Section 7A rights, federal courts have the ability to sanction Amazon. So that's huge that it is federal courts and not just the NLRB. We have another quote from Christian Smalls, who said this is a huge victory for workers organizing. Not only will it show that the union works, it will encourage more workers to get involved. There will be a public reading in the building, which requires the company to read the 30-page judgment to all 8,300 plus members of the union, but also post it up inside the building until the case is resolved. The public hearing will begin within the coming days and will be accompanied by a board member from the NLRB for compliance. And Seth Goldstein described just how huge it is that they're going to have to read this ruling to the workers directly. Seth said this is the first time a judge has called for a public reading of the notice at the JFK warehouse. They will also be served with a copy of the order. This is not the NLRB. This is a federal judge giving the order, which is huge. And Seth Goldstein expressed that he was very happy about this decision, but let's keep in mind there are key organizers who were there since the beginning of the founding of the ALU who have been fired for their organizing back in 2020 during COVID. And while Seth Goldstein says he's very happy with the ruling, Christian Smalls says, he's happy with the ruling. Everyone is disappointed that Gerald Bryson has not been reinstated. So the order was a response to a petition filed by Gerald Bryson, a former Amazon employee who in 2020 was fired for protesting the company's lack of safety protocols regarding COVID-19. So Gerald Bryson is someone who was participating in the initial walkout. He's participated in a lot of the protests at Amazon. He's key in organizing the union with Amazon. And for some reason, they didn't think it would resolve the union busting that Amazon has been engaging in. They didn't think that it would make sense to reinstate someone who was fired for exactly this as a part of the resolution to this case. Thankfully, the cease and desist order will have some protections for this happening in the future, but G should be reinstated. So more reporting from Vice on this. At the time, the National Labor Relations Board found that Amazon had illegally retaliated against Gerald by terminating him and demanded that it reinstate him. Judge Gujarati's order denied Bryson's request to get his job back because it claimed it would not have a significant effect on workers' willingness to organize. See, that doesn't make sense to me. This is someone who is central in organizing at Amazon at the JFK warehouse. Of course, having a former Amazon employee in the warehouse with the workers talking to them about the benefits of a union would impact workers' willingness to unionize. This is someone who was fired for organizing in 2020 and who can very clearly make the case to the workers why they should join the union. Of course, it would impact workers' willingness to unionize. Not only that, but he was fired for unlawful reasons. So here's a quote from G directly. I'm glad the judge ordered Amazon to stop retaliating against the workers who are organizing for better conditions. And I'm glad she agrees that Amazon broke the law when they fired me, but I can't believe that I have to keep waiting for justice. This will be another year that my kid won't get a Christmas just because his dad was demanding protection from COVID at work. So they really need to get G back in the building, let him go back to work and allow them to keep organizing because this is illegal union busting. And this kind of coercive tactic on behalf of Amazon really impacted the recent election in the Albany warehouse. ALB won. More reporting on that from Vice. The employer's coercive, threatening, and retaliatory conduct destroyed any possibility for the region to conduct a free and fair election, while also creating a sustained atmosphere before and during the critical period where voters' uninhibited desires were completely chilled, the ALU filing read. An Amazon spokesperson said the company had nothing to add at this point regarding the cease and desist order. So Amazon knows that they've been doing something wrong here. That's why they have absolutely nothing to say. They know that their union busting is the only reason they didn't win in this election. And while there's all forms of union busting, a big one is firing the workers who are organizing with the union. Now, Amazon will continue to do things like whenever organizers at the warehouse and on 8 hold an event where they decide, we're gonna tell people about the union, we're gonna give people some food while they sit and talk to us. While the organizers are doing that, Amazon managers will set up a counter rally on the other side, a barbecue, and have games and food for their workers so that they come and hang out there instead of talking to the union organizers. So union busting comes in many different forms, and Amazon is getting really creative, but this is huge that a federal court can uphold that Amazon cannot fire the union organizers for organizing. Ben?
I'd like to disagree with everything you said. I'm taking Amazon's side on this, Jessica, just because, first of all, just because the good people at Amazon give pizza and barbecue at the exact time of a union organizing meeting. That's coincidence. We got a big schedule, and they keep saying they want our workers at Amazon to be able to have breaks. So we give them a break whenever they get a chance to organize. It just seems to overlap. Secondly, totally agree with the judge. It makes no impact whatsoever if the leader of the union, one of the organizers of the Amazon labor union, gets fired for organizing. How would that have an effect on discouraging people from organizing in the future? They're not going to see those as related whatsoever. Sure, you might get fired if you participate in the union, but that's like comparing apples to apples, and that's the same thing. There's no need for a comparison. So obviously, I'm kidding, because this is insane. This is Amazon yet again in every way using their power to usurp people's power. I never understand. They're spending millions and millions of dollars to fight people organizing and unionizing at their facilities instead of just giving those millions of dollars to their employees and fighting the inevitable. They will be able to succeed. They've already succeeded at JFK 8. They, like you said, were defeated in the Staten Island factory vote recently because they were literally just at the exact same time they had anti-union reps coming in and talking to them, making them have a forced audience and telling them, no, this is actually not to your benefit at all. It's all good, but vote freely. Go ahead and do what you gotta do, vote freely, but this is a bad mistake, and just coercing at every level. So frustrating, even with good news like this, they now will be able to immediately put injunctions against Amazon for future firings like this. Of course, it comes still with not caring about the worker, which misses the whole point. Not reinstating Bryson says, oh yeah, on paper, unionizing will be allowed and Amazon won't be allowed to bust up these efforts. But the worker himself, that doesn't matter, does it? Well, that's the whole point.
Exactly. So reinstate my guy G, give him his job back, allow him to continue organizing in JFK 8. And by the way, yes, they won the union election in JFK 8, but it's very important that these workers get a contract, and that requires more organizing in that warehouse. So by not reinstating him, you're giving Amazon a leg up in making sure that contract goes in their favor. And of course, they're going to appeal this ruling and fight it in court because they have all of the money in the world for lawyers. But this is still a big win for workers and the ALU. They have really good lawyers and they're really dedicated in their organizing efforts. And this will definitely discourage them from engaging in union busting in future elections. So it's a huge win for labor.